And right now we want to bring in OAN American News political commentator Corey Lewandowski. Hi, Corey. Thanks for joining us today. The president, he's come under fire for seeming to want to work with Putin and get along with Russia. He was just interviewed by Bill O'Reilly of Fox News and said that he respected the Russian leader. So why do you think he's receiving backlash surrounding his comments, even from some Republicans? And do you think they're warranted?
Look, I think what you have is you have a president who has decided that sometimes it's better to work with other countries that have something mutually beneficial to each other, which is the destruction of ISIS in Syria. I don't understand why there'd be any backlash on that whatsoever. Now, are people concerned about a relationship with Russia? Sure, they may be. But what he said is he's brand new to the office, and what he wants to do is to work with world leaders so that we're putting America first. And putting America first means the destruction of ISIS.
Yeah, do you think he's actually receiving more backlash than President Obama did with trying to work with Iran on the nuclear deal?
As you know, President Obama gave away the farm when it came to the nuclear deal with Iran. As you know, many, many people say it was potentially the worst deal that the United States has ever made with Iran. We gave away billions of dollars back to them. We know that they are harboring terrorists. We've seen that in the past, and that's why we're very concerned about, additional relationships there. But look, Vladimir Putin is someone that we need to respect, and I think he respects President Trump. I think President Trump respects him, and if there are ways that we can work with them to rid the world of ISIS, it makes sense to me that we'd want to try and do that.
Right, and it seems Putin has an 80% approval rating in his country. He's done a lot to turn it around. Do you anticipate the same thing happening here with President Trump, as he's already hit the ground running since Inauguration Day to get America going again?
What you have here is a huge difference. What you have is a mainstream media who traditionally doesn't want to be honest about what's taking place with this administration. I think what they thought particularly was that he would campaign on issues, but then he would be different when he came to the Oval Office. And what we see with this president is the issues that he campaigned on, he's actually fulfilling. I know it's a crazy idea, but you've got a person who was never a politician who actually is doing exactly what they said they were going to do while in office. And so in the first 2.5 weeks that President Trump has been in the Oval Office, we've seen a massive amount of executive action taking place. We see taxes that are going to be reduced. We see Obamacare, which is going to be repealed and replaced. We see a wall which is going to be built on the Mexican border. And this is in the first 3 weeks. Let's just see what happens in the first couple of years.
Well, yesterday you and I spoke about cabinet confirmations. Today, Betsy DeVos was confirmed for Education Secretary, but with the help of Vice President Mike Pence. I want to know, what do you make of her confirmation? And when can we expect to see the remainder of Trump's cabinet picks to be confirmed? We all know that Democrats are slowing down that process.
They are slowing down the process, and that's to the detriment of the American people and the American public. And unfortunately, as you know, President Trump has nominated a number of very qualified individuals to serve in his cabinet. It is unprecedented, the length of time that it's taken for some of these nominations to go through. The Democrats continue to be obstructionists, and what you saw today was that the Democrats are basically, without any ability to stop the nominations from going through. You saw 2 Republican U.S. senators vote against Betsy DeVos, and Vice President Pence has stepped in and said that the president will have his choice to lead the Department of Education, which is in dire need of reform. So I think what you'll see moving forward, hopefully, is that the Democrats will come to the realization that it's better to work with the president than to be an obstructionist moving forward. And if that is the case, that's the best for the American people.
Yeah, and it looks like they're trying to hold down the floor again for another 30 hours ahead of Attorney General Jeff Sessions' confirmation as well. Do you see that going anywhere in their favor? Or this is just going to hurt them even more?
Senator Sessions is exceptionally qualified to be the next Attorney General of the United States. What's amazing is that they've made this such a partisan issue. We saw that Senator Booker from New Jersey sat down and testified against him. But, it was just a year or 2 ago where Senator Booker stood up next to Senator Sessions and praised him for his work on civil rights issues. And in the world of hyper-partisan politics and people who, on the Democrat side, want to posture to be a candidate in 3 or 4 years for the president of their respective party, this is all about partisan politics. This isn't what's best for the country. What we did see was that a career bureaucrat, someone who the Obama administration had appointed, refused to execute the president's executive order, and that person's position was terminated. That person had sworn an oath to the Constitution to uphold all the laws under the Constitution. They chose not to do that. That's everything that's wrong with the bureaucrats who serve in our government. And so what we need to do is we need to have fresh people show up in these cabinet positions, take a top-to-bottom review of what's going to take place, and put people in place who understand that the priorities of the government are to work for the people.
All right, Corey Lewandowski, thank you so much for joining us today, our One American News political commentator. Have a good day, Corey.